Good morning, everybody on YouTube. Hello. Welcome to Deep Ministries weekly live stream. If you're in my Zoom room, tell me how you are. Let me know how you're doing. Hi, Annie. Good to see you. Good morning. I want to know updates from the week. What's going on? Whoa. It's not session 120. Just wait till we get to session 120. That's going to be so crazy. If you're streaming from YouTube, thank you for joining us. I'm so happy that you're able to make it live or even watch the replay. I appreciate that. We're going to go ahead and grab this, set this up on our streaming page. Couple more minutes. I'm like, it's so funny because I got started like exactly at the same time that I usually get started. And somehow I'm like 2 minutes ahead of schedule. I have literally no idea how that's happening. I'm like, cool. I'll take it. When we have those leaps in time. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, let's go ahead. I'm going to here spotlight my video for everyone. Perfect. And then we just have one more thing left to do, which is not one thing. We're going to go live. Go live. Go live. I'm going to hit record here. Beat me. Good morning, everybody. Hi. How is it going? I'm going to pop on my light here. Welcome to our Deep Ministries weekly live stream. This is session 20. Can you believe it? Holy Moses. Session 20. And if I know anything, it's that even when Facebook, I am live on Facebook now. Good morning. Hi. How is everybody doing today? I'm happy to be here. Cool. All right. Then the last thing, oh shoot, I forgot to raise my table. Maybe that's why I had so much extra time. And then let's go live on Insta. Good morning, everybody on Instagram. Hi. Hi, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. Good morning to my Facebook viewers who just joined us. Thank you for watching. Kat's doing a little check-in for us. Let's see what's going on with Kat. If you weren't here last week, Kat was actually our, hi, Marvin. Welcome back from Vegas. I want to know all about your trip, so I can't wait to hear all about that. Kat was our live healing participant for last week, which is super brave because when people get healed live, it's very vulnerable. It's very, like you're putting all of your stuff, all of your ish live out there for the world to see. So I'm so grateful. Crystal says, oh my goodness, she's doing good, really good. Not quite awake this morning. Hey, that's all right. Hi, Tiff. Hi, Kimmy. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Hi. Are you outside? That's so pretty. Kat had a wonderful week and was able to transmute all of that stress and craziness. Oh, goodness. Were you, Kat? That's amazing. Hi, Terry. Good morning. Thanks for joining us. And let's take a look here. No longer have stress or fear around speaking your truth. Wow. That is amazing. You don't feel nervous about the live healings. You're meant to be a lighthouse for others to do the same. Oh, beautiful. Love, love, love. Who's here? Oh, Marvin. Hey, Mom. Hi, Lindsay. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Happy to see you. Okay, let's get rolling. So, we have a few things to cover this morning. First of all, if this is your first time tuning in to a Deep Ministries weekly live stream, then let me give you kind of like a little bit of an overview about what it is that we're doing here, who I am, what is up with this shiz. But let me quickly circle back actually before we move on and just say, wow, Kat, wow, that a lot of, and just in case some of it comes back, we won't say all, but just, that a lot of your fear of speaking your truth, especially within the arena of what you just experienced, is dissipated. Like, that's pretty crazy. You know, it's so funny. It's funny because I do this for a living, right? And I've been doing it for 8 years. So you would think at some point, good morning, Beth, at some point it would start to sink in how powerful and transformative some of these tools and techniques are. And the thing that is increasingly becoming more and more obvious to me is that it doesn't always need to be hypnosis, and it doesn't always need to be a 45-minute process. Like, Kat, our process last week was 10 minutes. We acknowledged like 3 things. We didn't even really do any powerful, like, transformative shifting. And then for you to actually have like what? I can't even, you guys. Hi, Jules. Long time no see. I miss you so much. Especially because one of the people you had an issue with has been sending, hi, Jamie, has been sending black magic, curses, hexes your way. She couldn't control you. It's unfortunately affecting other students, kids that also left with you. Well, when that karma comes back around, that's going to be really freaking intense. If you got the protection clause, feel free to share it with them. Yeah, and their moms, because really, really important. Yeah. Really, really important that they feel empowered. Anyone who has a child under 18 has universal permission to protect their children under their behalf. Like, they can train their kids how to protect themselves, but until they become an adult, they have permission from the universe to be able to protect their kids. So unacceptable. I've been through something incredibly similar, unfortunately. My spiritual mentor, when I have a little story, it's part of the teaching today, but Harriet, how are you? But when I put boundaries up with her, she was actually yes, exactly. I love it. Techniques, A+. Thanks, Marvin. You're so sweet. She was actually opening portals to the darkness, so that I was under constant attack, like in my home. I had introduced someone I had dated to her, and she leveraged him because he had been in my home, and I hadn't protected my home against him because why? Because we went on 2 dates. She had leveraged him because I protected my home against her, but not him, to open up the portals. And that's how I found out. He told me. He was like, I need to tell you something. And then he actually closed the portals for me because I couldn't close them. I hadn't opened them. Good morning, Christine. Good morning, Mara. Thanks, everybody, for joining. Okay, cool. So that's really insane. Keep yourself really protected as best as you can. But on the plus side, you got a new client. Is that your very first? With these? No, you're not your first, but at your new price point, or like that, it's at least some shifting for you. So that's beautiful. Celebrations. First one in a while. Yay. Yay, yay, yay. Okay. So we're talking about boundaries, loves. First of all, who am I? My name is Abi Levine. I am a spiritual teacher, a renegade, a revolutionary, and a cycle breaker. That is what I came to this planet to do, to inspire, to activate, to catalyze. What that means is people can be triggered by me, by my being, by me simply being in existence. And that's okay. And that's all right. I'm okay with it because that's part of my mission. I am an angel communicator. So everything I do is divinely guided by the highest of light for the benefit of all. And I'm transitioning more powerfully into my nonprofit work. I'm coming from being a money mindset coach for the last few years. In the last 3 years, my clients have made over $1 billion during the pandemic. Most of them started at less than $5,000 per month. So that's a really quick summary of who I am. Deep Ministries Incorporated is my nonprofit. We're broken down into two separate legs. One part of Deep Ministries is the local initiative. So our local on the ground initiatives. Hey, Dad, you're here. You're here. That's fun. Our local on the ground initiatives. Right now, we're working on building transitional housing for children emancipating out of the foster system. For those of you that don't know, as children turn 18, they're usually asked to leave their foster home. Some foster families will allow the children to finish out their high school year in the home, even though the foster family is no longer being paid to have that child, and just prepares them like after that, you got to go. I don't know where, but you got to go. But most foster children are asked to leave on their 18th birthday with nowhere to go, with no family, with no resources, and 80% of people in prison came through the foster home or group home system. Yeah, because what else, right? You're 18, bye. You don't have a place to go. You don't have resources. You don't have anything, family, nothing. You literally have nowhere. You have very few possessions. Most kids in foster care have already been moving between foster homes with trash bags, right? So they have this idea that they are trash. And it's just devastating. So we're creating Abby's House, which is a transitional program, which is in home. It's very intensive. It's going to be healing, leadership skills, entrepreneurial skills, and then life skills, all the skills that these kids need in order to be set up for success. So that is our local initiative. We're fundraising for our first Abby's House right now, which is very exciting. And then we also have the education portion of Deep Ministries. The education portion was the initial kind of spark that created Deep Ministries, because Deep stands for Divine Evolutionary Path. The Divine Evolutionary Path are practical steps rooted in spirit, leading anyone who is willing to show up to their highest, most evolved life of ease and abundance. And this is not, hi, Lena. Thanks for joining. This is not theory. These are practical steps that hey, Amado, long time no see. These are practical steps that I've actually been walking my clients through, and they're literally accessible to everyone. So the education portion of Deep Ministries is divided into 9 tracks, which are vital for humanity's ascension, for humanity's growth. Okay. We're in the middle of track 1, and track 1 is dissolving poverty mindset and building an abundance mindset. There are lots of reasons why this is important, and we have tons of classes. Today is session 20, so we've been working our way through this session because it's important to go deep. Ha! Get it? Into the teaching so that we're really pulling out Um, all of the different things that we need to incorporate in order to have our highest, most evolved life. So we're in track 1. We're working on trust. Trust is kind of the module that we're in the middle of right now, and we're in like a sub-module of the sub-module of trust, which is boundaries. So we're talking about boundaries. We've been talking about boundaries for a couple weeks now. And today we're going to be diving more into why we don't set boundaries, okay? Boundaries are essential. Setting boundaries. Oh, hi, Shells. Oh, it's your grandson's graduation. I'm so proud and happy for you. Thanks for hopping on to say hi. So boundaries are essential. They're part of our evolution. One of the most important lessons that we have to learn as a human species is sovereignty while we're here, how to protect our sovereignty, how to keep ourselves safe, how to set our boundaries, how to live with an open heart. But in order to live with an open heart, we have to be able to protect ourselves, and boundaries are our tool, right? So most people, what they do is shut their heart because that's what's safe. No, we're not supposed to. We're supposed to live with an open and accessible heart, warm, loving, available. I just realized I'm probably only streaming to friends right now, and I don't want to do that. I want to stream to public. There we go. Okay, cool. It's almost like I heard like an echo from last week from you, Kat, when you were, it was so weird. It was like an echo through space and time. Hey, Jules, good to see you, babe. So boundaries are vital. There is no shortcut around setting boundaries. There's no one who can do it for you. There's no way to avoid conflict. Hi, Raj. Good to see you. There's no way to avoid conflict by not setting boundaries. I mean, you can, honestly. You can do whatever you want. But if you avoid conflict and don't set boundaries, you're also going to suffer the consequences of not setting boundaries. And that is incredibly ouchies. Jules, joining again from a different account. Yay! So we got to set boundaries. So the last couple of weeks we've been talking about how, right? We're going to go deep into, every time I say the word deep, it makes me laugh because it's a pun and I love it. And it's ridiculous, silliness, and who cares? So we're going to go deep into boundaries a little ways down. Hey, Kelly. Oh, Kelly, your comment on my post yesterday was so sweet. So much hearting. When we get to the wealth alchemy formula, because you cannot implement the wealth alchemy formula without boundaries. You need to have them. They're vital. Okay, so we're going to go even deeper into the how to set boundaries. We did a class last week on kind of the basics, and I'm going to cover them right now in case you missed it. Okay, so I'm just going to cover the steps. Oh, hey, Ariel, good to see you. We're going to cover the steps to setting boundaries just real quick. Not going to go deep into it because where we're moving forward to is if we know boundaries are important, if we hate life without boundaries, why don't we actually set them? What is going on? Why don't we have our own backs? What the hell, right? Yes, Ariel. Safety is absolutely an illusion. Absolutely. It's an illusion that safety comes from the outside. Safety is absolutely possible within. Julie, nailed it. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, ding, ding. Yeah, fear. Absolutely. And there's lots of different fears, and we're going to start diving into the first one today. Okay, so steps to setting boundaries. Step 1, recognize that a boundary has been crossed. This one is actually probably the easiest step because you can usually recognize that a boundary has been crossed because of the emotional reaction that happens. And as I was saying that, I realized that that's not a truth all the way through. It's easy to spot a boundary has been crossed when you have an emotional reaction towards it or against it. But if you are like me or some of my other clients, you have been groomed not to notice your boundaries being crossed. And so somehow, yikes, shells. Oh man, that hit me so hard. I'm so sorry. I will absolutely get back to that in just a second, but I'm so sorry for your loss. I'm so sorry, man. But when you are groomed not to recognize your boundaries, sometimes you don't know that a boundary has been crossed until weeks or months later. If that is the case, don't worry about it. You're just going to keep waking up your discernment. You're going to keep your animus active. You're going to keep pinning the red flags. And when you do notice what boundary has been crossed, you can pin it to your corkboard and you'll be able to notice it more quickly next time. It's not going to go from night or day necessarily, and it might. But we can shorten the cycle of recognizing boundaries so that it's shorter and shorter and shorter. Step 2 is once you notice that a boundary has been crossed, whether it's in that moment that you're having a volatile emotional reaction, whether it's days later, whether it's weeks later, whether it's months later, it's time to step back and take a breath. That is not the time to react. That is not the time to respond, because you can create trauma by reacting before you process. Our goal as humans is to support the evolution of our fellow man, not reinforce trauma. So even though we will sometimes create trauma accidentally, we want to do our best not to. And our best is enough, but we do want to have that focus, okay? So you step back, take a breath. Step 3 is vent the emotions. Totally, Jules. I totally understand. So venting the emotions, if you don't know how to vent the emotions, watch my class. What do I do with these pesky emotions? It's in my bio on my social media profiles. If you're watching this from the streaming page, just scroll down. There's a button below that'll take you to the link. Vent the emotions. So reacting, taking a step back before you respond or react, venting the emotions. Step 4, deciding what the boundary or consequence actually is, what it needs to be. Step 5, in the most calm way, communicate the boundary in the most calm way, which is why we have to vent the emotions first. If you don't vent the emotions before you communicate the boundary, are you going to be very calm? Probably not. Okay. Vent the emotions first, then communicate the boundaries. Step 6, listen, pay attention. Notice how people respond to your boundaries. I know, Tim. I know. And we did it on Tuesday. So I'm like, oh no, a day late and $1 short. Step 7. It's more of just like a note. That's awesome. That's awesome, Jules. You've been in your notes on your phone. That's so good. Just making sure that the emotion has a place to move through you, at least. Like it has to get out. It will not leave your body without some active participation on your pot. You have to actually vent the emotion. Yeah, so smart. I know, Jules. I know you have that challenge. Step 7 is more of just like a mental note. They do not have to consent to your boundary. Nobody has to agree. They don't have to be like, let me think about it. No, that's not that. That's not the conversation. The conversation is, here's my boundary. Here's the consequence if you keep crossing my boundary, and that's it. And then step 8 is when the boundary is crossed again, follow through, which is the most vital part of the entire process. If you are not prepared to follow through with the consequence, don't worry about this entire process. Forget it. Don't even waste your energy, because the follow through is the most important part of this entire process. Okay. So if you're not prepared to follow through with the consequences, don't bother doing any of it until you're so sick and tired of the way that you're being treated by certain people that you are willing to follow through with the consequences. When you are willing to follow through with the consequences, that is the time that you're going to do this entire process for every single relationship in your life. So sometimes your closest, nearest, and dearest will cross your boundaries. We don't know. We don't know where people's boundaries are until they're communicated. Yes, many of us are divinely and intuitively tapped in. And so we can intuit where some people's boundaries are based on watching their reactions to their boundaries being crossed by other people. But nobody is born with the blueprint of our boundaries. And that is why it is our responsibility and ours alone to do this process, including the most important part, which is the follow through. Got it? Okay, I want to address Shelley's comment and her share. Shell, I'm so sorry. Gee whiz. Shelley's nephew took his life yesterday. Can we have a class on suicide or recognizing the signs? Yeah, we will. It's in track 2. It's in track 2, which is managing emotions. Now, Shell, some things right off the bat that I just want to impart to you. If someone makes a decision to leave this planet, there's nothing you can do. It doesn't matter if you see the signs or don't see the signs. Because who knows why? Who can remember why? Oh, bye, honey. Who remembers why? Anybody? Anybody? Can we interfere with someone else's free will? Can we control another person? That's right. That's right, Lindsay. We can support them. That's right, Terry. You can only control yourself. We can support them. We can hold their hands. We can tell them that we're here for them. We can call somebody. We can call the authorities. We can have them committed. We can do a bunch of different things. But there's absolutely nothing that we can do to save them from their decision to leave this planet. I know. We're getting a lot of, Shelley, when you have a moment, Hop over to my Facebook because you're getting a lot of love over there too, babe. Kelly, can suicide be a contract they're supposed to fulfill? I'm hearing no, but I'm hearing because everybody has free will, it's not necessarily something that any of the divine teams will even interfere with. If they kind of really need that person on planet Earth, they will try to send intervention. But there really isn't anything that we can do except for teach emotional management, right? I'm so glad, Jules. Jules says that that's a message that provides a lot of peace. We can do our absolute best, but there's nothing we can do to stop them. Not at all. Never, unfortunately. Jules, but we can try to create a world where people don't feel that hopeless. Ding, ding, ding. And that is part of Deep Ministries' mission. That is part of emotional management. Every time I hear about a suicide, it reminds me and reinforces why I am here. Because people don't know how to manage their depression, and it's fairly simple. People don't know how to manage their anxiety, and it's fairly simple. And you don't need to pay for it. It's tools and techniques you can do with your body. It's just we're not taught. We're not taught how to manage our emotions. And that would be a beautiful world, right? Where everybody knew it's okay to be angry. So they rage scream in their car rather than snapping and finding that they have a gun in their hand when they snap. You know what I mean? Like there's lots of different things that are created by honey. Love to you, babe. So many different things that bad things that happen because we don't know how to manage our emotions as a species. Kat, you had that divine intervention. Yeah. Well, I'm very glad to hear that. I'm very glad to hear that. Yeah, absolutely. One of the things when I find out when someone contacts me who's suicidal, the first thing that I do is give them free access to one of my programs, Emotional Transformation Bootcamp, with the stipulation that you did too, Jules, because you're supposed to be her babe, with the stipulation that they have to watch class 1 that day. And that's how they can get access to my class for free. And every single time, there has not been one time where that has happened, where someone has contacted me and taken that first class, that by the time they were done with that class, they were like, okay, I choose to live. So it's because all you need to know is that you're okay and you're not alone. And that's it. Like, that's what people need to know, that, okay, my brain is not broken. We're okay. There's reasons why I'm like this. And things like that. Yeah, it is one's own experience. The problem is not emotion. It's trying to constrict and control one area, not allowing the variability of one side to the other, and realizing we are not our emotions. So we're kind of saying the same thing, babe, because it's not the emotions that are the problem, right? Absolutely. Because we're humans, so we have emotions. It's that no one teaches us how to regulate those emotions. And so we suppress, and that's where the volatility comes from. Jules, like, how can a regular person help people know that? Connect with me, Jules, because there are ways that a regular person can help people know that. Okay. Let's just have a moment for Shell, send her and her family lots of love and light. And anyone else there who's struggling, actually, let's just do a moment. Sending all people who are struggling love and light, because this world is intense. Human life living is really fucking intense. Dude, just humaning 101 is really huge. Oh, no problem. No problem at all. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so now we're going to pivot back to boundaries, and let's talk about why we don't set boundaries. Oh, I just was channeled one more even. It just was channeled one more. I'm going to start with that one. We don't set boundaries sometimes because we love people and we don't want to. We love them. We don't want to limit our interaction with them, especially if the relationship is unbalanced, right? I say this all the time to people. I want to love unconditionally. I do not want to have my love be conditional. I am not interested in that kind of experience here as a human being, right? I love hard, real hard. I'm not interested in loving harder, less hard. But boundaries keep us safe. Boundaries keep things balanced. Boundaries keep things reciprocal, right? Because what can happen when we love too hard? We overgive. We pour into others and we don't receive for ourselves, right? And that's where things get tricky. We have to be aware of these things because it's our job to manage our energetic output. Fear, lots of fears around why we don't set boundaries. One, the fear of retaliation. This is valid. We're going to actually dive a little bit deeper into the fear of retaliation today. But that's one reason why we won't set boundaries is they will retaliate. Lindsay says that was a big imbalance she had along with fear. Yeah, totally. You totally get that. Yeah, been there, done that like a bunch of different times. Oh my goodness. 2, fear of rejection. Now, this could be softened to, well, I don't want to rock the boat. Well, I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want to upset anybody. I don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. Okay, so that can be the softened version of fear of rejection, but it is the fear. Hi, Brisa. Good to see you, honey. But it is the fear of rejection that is underlying why I'm just not going to rock the boat. I don't need to say anything. It's fine. I can swallow it. I've got broad shoulders. I can handle it. You know, I'm just gonna deal with it. It's no big deal, right? But it's the fear of rejection that is underlying that fear of rocking the boat. Fear of abandonment. Fear of abandonment. This one is so tangible, so palpable that it can hijack your body and make you think truthfully, you sincerely believe that you are okay with something that you are not okay with. This fear of abandonment is so deep. It can just really hijack you. And really, it can make you catatonic. It can freeze you. It can put you into the freeze mode of fight, flight, freeze, where you're just still. You don't know how to act. You don't know what to do. Every time you think of something, all that comes back is, I don't know, right? Because of this fear of abandonment. Deep, deep, deep stuff. Fear of getting kicked out of the tribe. Well, if I set a boundary, then I'm going to get kicked out of the tribe. And that can also look like fear of loneliness, fear of being alone, right? I'm going to end up by myself. But at the bottom of the fear of getting kicked out of the tribe is actually a fear of annihilation. Because back in the olden days, and we'll go more into it when we're talking specifically about fear of getting kicked out of the tribe, but in the olden days, if you got kicked out of the tribe, that did kind of mean certain death. So we still have that pattern. Oh my God. Even though it's been millions of years, you guys were still so unevolved. Goodness, it's still literally in our DNA. Jules, well, no worries on that since you never had a tribe to get kicked out of. Well, you did, babe, and you did get kicked out, and that hurt you, right? So it makes you hesitant to want to build up a new tribe, and I get it. Lindsay says on the rock the boat front, it was reinforced growing up with, if you're not pleasing to be around, people will not like you or want to be around you. And even though in your mind you were like, I don't care, fuck it, you would still do the thing. Yeah, totally. Absolutely. Right? Because we can have a narrative of, I don't care what anybody thinks of me. And then we'll catch ourselves doing things that show that we actually do care what people think of us, and that we're deeply in denial about it, because we still like stick to this narrative of I don't care. And it's not necessarily true, because we all care what some people think about us. I do. I care what my friends think about me. I care what my brothers think about me. I care what my daughter thinks about me. I care what, like people close to me. I care what my clients think about me. I do care what people think about me. But my boundary is I won't change who I am based on what people think about me. That's where my boundary is. Like, people can think the way that they do, and I will have an emotion about it. I'll have a reaction about it, but I'm not going to change who I am as a person in order to make other people feel more comfortable. Anyway, that was a little digression. Fear of getting kicked out of the tribe. Number 5, why don't we set boundaries, is lack of self-knowledge. So this is more of like the following through. So maybe we're in denial. Oh, that's actually number 10. We're in denial. I don't need a boundary around that. Hashtag ask me how I know about denial. Goodness gracious. So the lack of self-knowledge makes it really, really hard to follow through with boundaries that you set for yourself, because you may set a boundary that you're actually, with a consequence that you're not willing to follow through the consequence on. The grammar was really terrible, but hopefully you understood where I was coming from. So knowing yourself, knowing what matters to you, knowing where your boundaries are really important, because then you can set realistic consequences, right? The consequence can't always be blowing up the bridge of the relationship. Because what if you want to be in that relationship still? Like, what if you choose to put up with a high level of bullshit because the other person is at least willing to keep showing up and trying to work through this nonsense, right? So you can't always immediately have the consequence of boom, annihilation of the bridge to the relationship. You got to know yourself. Number 6, you can't say no. So another reason why we don't set boundaries or follow through with boundaries is because we can't say no. And just to let you know, babe, I wasn't talking directly to you, but I didn't want to call you out by saying I wasn't talking directly to you. But you're like, hi, Blaine. Good to see you. Yeah. Some people get stuck on the inability to know how to say no. And then, yeah, if you can't say no, there's no way you're going to be able to follow through with consequences. No way. Another reason why we don't follow through with boundaries that we set, we have a deep belief that we deserve to be mistreated. Risa says, yes, especially with her kids. Setting boundaries with our kids is really hard. We are going to have a how to set boundaries with your children class coming up, probably in June, I'm guessing. I think I might have been planning to do it in May, but we got very much deep into this portion of our tracks for Deep Ministries. But step 7 is we believe we deserve to be mistreated. So why would we follow through with a consequence? Why would we set a boundary? Isn't what being mistreated the best that we could expect or deserve? Step 8. Step 8. We are afraid. Reason 8, not step 8. Reason 8. We are afraid we won't get our needs met if we don't comply. Hi, Ultra. We're afraid that we won't get our needs met if we don't comply or act like we don't have the boundaries that we actually do. This can happen really frequently in your relationships. If you were raised with a lot of trauma in your background, you can become really overly compliant. No, look at me, I'm loosey-goosey. Oh, no, I'm fine. Oh, no, I don't have a boundary. Or you can become overly controlling. Here are all my boundaries. And if you don't, submit instantly in the way that I choose to, every single one, blow up the relationship, right? So we're afraid that we won't get our needs met if we don't comply or control. Beautiful. Step 9, I already mentioned. Not step 9, reason 9. Reason 9 I started with, but because we love people. We love them. We cherish them. We adore them. Like they're just so precious to us. So we don't want to set boundaries with them. And reason 10 is denial. Deep denial about what we want, who we are, what our boundaries are, what our boundaries are not. And if you have yourself, like if you personally have boundaries, reasons that you don't follow through with consequences or setting boundaries, please share them with me. Share them with me because this list is not exhaustive. This list is only reasons why I have historically not set or followed through with boundaries and reasons why I have witnessed clients that I've worked with not set or follow through with boundaries, right? So it's certainly not complete, but definitely share, like if there's a reason that you have why you don't specifically follow through with boundaries, please share it with me. Okay, so that's kind of some of the overview of why we don't follow through with boundaries. Over the next few weeks, we're actually going to dig into each one of these reasons, and we have a healing class to pair with clearing each one of these reasons why we don't set boundaries. Didn't realize that our boundaries module was going to be this deep and intense. That wasn't my original thought or design, but as you know by now, I'm not the one leading this process. The divine is. So once I realized, remembered, sovereignty is one of our most important lessons as a species that we have to learn. It makes sense that we have to piecemeal out boundaries like bit by bit and clear out all the shit and all the gunk that prevents us from having our own back and defending ourselves. Julie asks, what if your boundary is really weird and one that most people will not understand? No problem. Find people who do understand it. There are people out there who will accept you as you are. Sweet thing. I was just working with one of my clients, a couple of weeks ago, and he has a boundary around relationships that's incredibly unconventional, that most people would probably not be okay with. And so what he has historically done is not set the boundary, done the actions or behavior that are aligned with his soul, and then it has created major conflict and trauma for himself and partners, right? So what we're working on is, no, your boundary is your boundary. You have to know yourself to know what your boundary is. And then after that, if someone's not okay with it, great, they have permission to not be okay with it. But they don't have to mess around with you, right? They don't have to stick with you. They don't have to stay in this realm. Ultra, would I say that boundaries are energetic? 100%, babe. They are physical, they are practical, they are energetic, and they are aligned all the way through all of the different dimensions. And that's why it's important to be firm with not only setting your boundaries, but also following through with your boundaries, because they have a frequency, they have a resonance. When I started honoring my boundaries, specifically with friendships, still practicing relationships, because fuck y'all, that shit's hard. But yeah, when I started honoring my boundaries with friendships, the resonance, the frequency that I was sending out shifted to where I actually started attracting people who naturally honored the new boundaries that I had set for myself. So they're absolutely, I would absolutely say that they are definitely exist in the energetic world as well. Just nailed it. You just nailed it. How can you know if you don't know who you are? Oh, you're so sweet. Ultra said I answered that perfectly. Well, thank you. I would also just reiterate, all of these are channels. So, I'm not reinventing the wheel here, but I definitely will take full credit for being a fantastic messenger. And thank you for seeing me. Oh, I nailed it. Yes. How can you know what your boundaries are if you don't know who you are? You can't. Is the bottom line to that. Alrighty, last part, darlings, unless you have any more questions. Last part is we're going to start digging a little bit into fear of retaliation. Fear of retaliation. Okay. Let's talk about fear of retaliation. Okay. So, this is an easy one. This is a really easy one. When we don't set boundaries because we're afraid of what someone's going to do or say, or what they'll tell other people, or what people will think about you, it just makes sense, right? It's really practical. It's a very easy to understand fear. You might be worried that people will believe the other person who is retaliating against you, who might be making up lies. You might be worried that their lies about you are going to hurt you, are going to damage you in some way. It might damage your reputation, might affect your income stream. You might even have the narrative that if this person retaliates against you, it's going to kill you. You might have the narrative, you cannot handle it. I can't handle it. It will kill me. It will annihilate me. Okay, so there's some really easy to understand, but kind of deep things behind this fear of retaliation. And one of the most challenging parts, yeah, absolutely, Jules. Jules says, welcome to her world. I know, babe, like this explains what happens to you, right? What happened to you with your friends when you tried to set boundaries. The truth is, unfortunately, because people are so deeply buried in their trauma, they will retaliate. Anybody had an experience of retaliation where you set a boundary and someone retaliated against you? Yeah, me too. Lots. And they're painful. Painful. Ouchie, ouchie, ouchies. Right? I kind of was talking a little bit earlier about an example that I had with my spiritual mentor, right? Randomly, in the middle of our contract, she tried to triple my rate. She just messaged me and said, we're raising your rate. And I was like, huh? And then she told me what it was. And I was like, but why though? And her explanation was because I was successful. Wait a minute, isn't that your job? Like, not your job, but aren't you supposed to support me in being successful? And why am I being penalized now for being successful? Anyway, so my response to that was no, sorry, not at all. And not only was my response no, but then I was like, and you just destroyed my trust 100% in an instant, because now I feel like a cash cow. I feel like an ATM machine Yeah, hard stop, big time. So violated, so violated. And not to mention to this point, like within a period of 6 months, I'd already paid her $18,000. So like, so I was paying her pretty good money. And the retaliation that came from that no and that boundary, ooh, was really hardcore, hardcore, really hardcore. She really tried to ruin my reputation. She would contact my one-on-one clients and she was making up lies about me. She was opening up portals. Like I mentioned, she leveraged someone I had dated and she was opening up portals in my home where my daughter lives to invite demons to fuck with me. I was under constant attack for months. And I could feel the attack, but I had no idea why it happened or where it came from until he took me for coffee. All of a sudden I felt it. Boom, door closed. And I was like, oh my God. Oh, 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 oh. And it stopped. And he took me for coffee and he told me what they did. He told me about the process, the ceremony. He told me that he helped her because he believed the stories. And I was like, no, man, I was just trying to live. Like, I was like, no, thank you. Put love and light. Like, we're done. But, I wish you well on your journey. And yeah, Jules, this stuff absolutely happens. Yes, and people can do it to you. Yeah, so it was insane. So retaliation is a real thing. Energetic attacks are a real thing. And people will get mad at you for setting boundaries. Jules, I want you to watch. You have to protect yourself, babe. I want you to watch my protection class. It's in my bio in my Instagram profile. Okay. So go to my profile, watch my protection class. That's the only thing you can do. The only thing you can do is protect yourself because you can't control them. You certainly can't control the universe. You can ask for your team's support. And that's pretty much it, right? Just protect, protect, protect. But through that, right? I love it when people show up in your arena to help you be the coach that you love to hate because it strengthens you. Through that experience, the protection that I now have around myself is so wide that nothing can fuck with me anymore. Like it is so complete. Absolutely. Ultra, we attracted the experiences. Is that fair? 100% on some kind of level. 100%. Whether we are tacitly compliant with it, and that's what attracted us, whether vibrationally, that's what we're pulling in, or whether that is a specific thing that we are supposed to notice in order to grow. Absolutely. I believe that 100%. But yes, exactly. It's still choking, it's still suppressing. And please do not use that. I attracted it as a means of invalidating the emotional response that you get when you're going through it. Because that's one thing that spiritual people can skip to. We skip to, well, I must have created this, so it's my fault somehow. Okay, you didn't ask to be violated consciously. So even if it's pointing at a pattern that needs to be healed, you still get to have the emotions, the violations around it, etc., etc., etc. Don't skip your experience of it because your experience is part of the process. Okay, cool. People will get angry at you when you set boundaries. Oh, by the way, the only people who get angry at you setting boundaries are the people who are benefiting from you having none. The only people who will get mad when you set boundaries are the people who are benefiting from you having none. Brisa, where do we see all my past videos? If part of Deep Ministries. Well, they're being uploaded to Kajabi, but not consistently because I have a membership, just a $5 monthly donation that you can pay and just be part of that back end community thing. But I don't at the moment have anybody uploading the videos. So the easiest part is probably like scroll through my Facebook feed. Some of them made it to my Instagram, but not all of them because some of them just got canceled out. They're all on YouTube. Ding. They're all on YouTube. Go to my YouTube channel. They're all there. Perfect. Thank you. People will talk about you. They will. They're going to. There's nothing you can do to head it off. There's nothing you can do to stop them. There's all varieties of reasons why they will talk about you to other people, and none of them have to do with you. None of them. None of them are a personal reflection on you. Some people will believe them. Some people will believe them. And it hurts like hell. It hurts like hell. When people who you thought knew you believe something that's not true to the extent where they won't even ask you about it and make a decision about your friendship, your relationship, your business relationship based on what they heard from another person. It's painful. But guess what? Most of the time they come back around. It's so hard. Oh, it's ouchies. Most of the time they come back around. Why? Because you can't fake truth. You can't fake your way through truth. So the truth will always win out. You cannot fake the resonance of truth. It's just not a thing. Okay, and then it's up to you if you want to continue those relationships. I always do. I always do, because we're human, right? We're humans. I'm okay with people being human, and I'm okay with accepting people as humans. I'm okay with people bumbling through their humanity. We're all just doing the best that we can. Revealing truth, exactly. We're all just doing the best that we can, and so that's kind of my attitude about it. People will try to ruin you. People will try to take you down. People will try to destroy you. So funny. It's so funny. I mean, like, literally, I was writing a post somewhere in my feed. I wrote a post like towards the end of the year. It's like November or something. And I was like, I'm so like desensitized to people telling me they're going to ruin my life. It's been happening for years. Come on now. Okay, go ahead. Ruin my life. Take your best shot. There was one point, there was 4 different people. Yeah, 4 different people. I'm going to ruin your life. Okay. That's fine. Yeah. Good luck. Like, what else? Yeah, it's so messed up. It is so messed up. Absolutely it is. And still, like, what else? Okay, take your best shot. Ruin my business. Have at it. If my business success depended upon you, I probably wouldn't be where I'm at. So, Jewel says she feels like there's a lot of people that aren't doing the best they can. You feel like many leaders are trying hard to hurt the community. And within that, that's the best that they've got. Within that, Jules, that's the best that they've got. You know what I mean? Like, their level of fucked upness is the best. That's the best they can do. Does that make sense? That's what I mean when people are just doing our best. Like, even if our best is shitty, it's still our best. And the fact is that you will lose friends. Yeah, ultra. Can't give you what you don't have. Yeah. So many leaders are stuck in trauma and attacking others. Yeah, absolutely. You will lose friends, and it's heartbreaking. People will choose sides, and it's shitty, but they will. They will. And you'll put love and light, and you'll be like, Dude, after everything we've been through, after everything I've done for you, after everything I've helped you with, after everything, you're kidding me right now. You're kidding me. Are we really doing this? Like, are we really having this conversation? Are you really being this kind of a human? And you'll have all those thoughts and they'll be totally valid. And you will still live. You will still live. You will live through it. Crystal. Crystal says, Abby, you're so amazing. Laughing at people trying to ruin you. You find so much strength in this. And the the bubble of protection. Yes, Ultra. Exactly. Ding, 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 ding. You will live and you will thrive and you will grow and you will succeed, much to their admonishment and their disgust and their true belief, sincere belief that they should have been able to ruin you and they didn't. And how dare you still go on to be even more successful without them. Oh, it's so beautiful. So beautiful. And you know that I do want to speak to that quote though. There's that quote that says, the best form of revenge is success. Hi, Eddie. How are you? I don't believe that. Yeah, how dare you be happy without me? Grr. I don't believe that the best form of revenge is success. To share with you, I have like a dark pot, like a dark Abby. Dark Abby right then when I was like, the best form of revenge is not success. Dark Abby is like, the best form of revenge is revenge. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I really don't love the energy behind the best form of ultra. Oh my gosh. Oh, that tickles me. That tickles me. I'm good. Thank you. I don't like the energy behind the best form of revenge being success. I think the best form of revenge is healing whatever part of you cares about having revenge and just letting them fucking do their own thing outside of your bubble. Let that shit go. Letting that shit go. Reincarnation. Terry says she thinks the best form of revenge is peace. Absolutely. Absolutely. Stopping caring about revenge. Really, truly not giving a shit. But with a peaceful heart. With a peaceful heart. Not fuck you, I don't care. Not fuck you, I don't give a shit. But you're no longer consequential. And not from a superior perspective. Not from you are no longer consequential because I'm taller than you, I'm better than you, I'm more enlightened, I'm higher spiritually. I took the high road, you took the low road. And as I look down on you, how does it feel? No, not from that perspective. Not from that perspective, like from a perspective of, oh, are you still there? I didn't notice because I kept fucking living my life. And that's it. That is truly the best form of revenge. It's so much more like you're so much. You are, of course you are. The fact that like you could even consider that above, right? Above getting in the mud is so beautiful. Eddie's seen the revenge in his past from the ex. Unfortunately, no control, but it's okay. Exactly. Yeah, you know how it went. It's so sad. Yeah, it's ouchies. It's ouchies. That's where you are with your abusive exes. yeah, that have popped up to let you know they're still stalking you. Like, okay, have at it. I absolutely agree. Well, because there are dark parts of us. Yes, Jules, dark Abby. Jules, do my what do I do with this pesky emotions class again? Um, dark Abby are the dark parts, the dark parts, the wounded parts, the parts that aren't integrated, the one that's afraid of abandonment, the one that truly does like play out murder visions. Like, not something I would ever do. Let's make it real super clear. I would never cross that boundary. But yeah, like sometimes I have to hold space for her when she wants to show me revenge schemes. I have to listen. Why? Because allowing that energy to be seen and heard and witnessed gives it permission to be released. If you try to ignore your dark parts, they will sideswipe you when you least expect it. Ask me how I know. If you incorporate your dark parts that absolutely ultra still need to be loved, still need acknowledgement, still need witnessing, they don't have the potential to hijack you. It's very scary being hijacked by darker parts of you, because it's like you're hanging out in the back of your head and you can see yourself doing things and saying things. And you're like, that's not me. That's not me. Why is that happening? Right? So all this stuff, no matter how painful it is, no matter how painful the retaliation is, you will recover. You can thrive. You can grow. You can evolve. You can ascend. You can spark joy. You can inspire those around you. And on and on and on. Okay? No matter how painful it is, you will recover. It is but a moment in time, regardless of what the purpose is. You can, we will, should we choose it. Should we choose it? Okay? You cannot control someone. You cannot stop people from trying to retaliate. You still have some anger, but you're working on it. Good job, Eddie. We'll keep watching that class, babe, and just keep moving it through you. I'm so proud of you. Proud of you. You can't stop someone from being a straight up dick. And it would be so cool if you could, but you just can't. You can't plead with them. You can't implore. You can't be a dick back and hope that's going to teach them a lesson. There's nothing you could do. There's literally nothing you can do to control someone. So not setting boundaries for fear of retaliation is not going to help you. Okay? Not setting boundaries because of fear of retaliation is not going to help. We can't stop people from being dicks. We can't stop people from doing shitty things. It's not our job to enact karma. We aren't the judge and jury. Not our job. And if you don't set a boundary, where a boundary is being crossed, resentment is going to build. You will get to a point where you will either implode and it will turn into deep depression and anxiety, or you will explode and it will become rage fits, like Ultra mentioned, blackout rage, right? And then guess what's going to happen when you explode or implode on the person who keeps crossing your boundaries? They will retaliate anyway. If they're going to retaliate, they're going to do it no matter how you act. So might as well protect yourself. Might as well set a boundary. Yeah, Ultra says they win if if their goal is to get a reaction, sure. Yeah. If their goal is to avoid you setting boundaries, sure. Yeah, because you're avoiding setting boundaries. But they're still going to retaliate either way. So your best, most important focus is set the boundary. Set the boundary anyway. Still, vent your emotions before you communicate the boundary, because the goal is still, regardless of how they respond, regardless of their intention, regardless of their connection with you not having boundaries, it is still your goal and responsibility to remain as calm as possible in that conversation. Okay? It's still your responsibility to remain calm. It is not your job to dish out trauma, no matter who started it. Got it? No matter who started it, it's not your job to dish out trauma. It is your job to be the most highly evolved version of yourself, the best that you can. And sometimes your best doesn't look awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Lesson learned. Jules says natural habitat is not calm. No, it's not, honey. Your job is to be the most highly evolved version of yourself as you can in each moment. Sometimes it won't look like having control over your emotions, and there's no shame in that. But all you can do is recognize and try to do better next time. Try to do a new tool, vent more emotions, okay? Also, I highly advise you to try to go into the conversation with the person that you're afraid of retaliating with the idea that they might not. With the idea that they might not retaliate. And the reason that I say try to bring this into the conversation is because if you speak to them with the assumption that they're going to retaliate, the odds of them retaliating are much higher. Hi, Savi. So try, at least try, do your best, bring into the conversation. Maybe they won't this time. Who knows? Maybe they won't. Stay calm was not in your dictionary after a few healing sessions. Coming back was not easy. Oh, it's so hard. It's so hard coming back to the human body when you're on the other side and it's just so peaceful. I totally get it. You're like, but Earth is so hard. Earth is so hard. I know. Yeah. So your best bet is to do your best to clear all the emotions. Notice what traumas are being triggered. Do your work around those traumas. If you're wondering, well, how do I do my work around those traumas? Easy. I'm doing a healing class on it on Tuesday. Come to that. Okay. So like we're here, we're doing the thing. Let's do the thing. And as you practice setting boundaries, that you that when people retaliate, you're going to get more and more confident in your ability to set boundaries and follow through. Kat says, if their goal is to get a reaction and you don't, they freak out even more. Hashtag Oscar, how she knows. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The more and more you practice setting boundaries with people who retaliate, the better and better you will get, and the easier and easier it will become to continue to set boundaries who naturally retaliate. Also, you might start to evaluate those relationships, or they might, and they might see themselves out of your arena once you start to set boundaries with them. Either way, there's going to be an evolution of some sort in that relationship, and that is what is designed. Why? Because as a divine human being, your right to sovereignty is paramount. your right to live the experience that you choose. Happy, calm, peaceful, loving, loved, wealthy, successful, abundant, healthy. Your right to live the life that you choose is one of the strongest universal laws in existence. That is what sovereignty is. You choose how you want to be treated. And in order to protect your sovereignty, you must have boundaries. Got it? Got it? Get it? Got it good? It's so freaking hard, Eddie. It is. Meditation is how, yeah, meditation and the gym helping you out. Totally. Totally. Oh, dude. It's already 11:18. Yeah, no. I'm being told not enough time to do a live online healing today, but no worries. If anyone would like to volunteer to be our live online healing person for next week, I think I'm just going to maybe start a list. Because that might be the easiest way to do it. I'm not loving this volunteer like live thing because it starts to feel a little chaotic if we're in the middle of trying to do a bunch of stuff. So if you want to be on my live online healing list, just email me. Yay. Thanks, Kat. I had a feeling I was just going to pop you on there anyway, because you did say I'll always be on the list. Yeah. Totally. Just email me, or maybe I'll do a post. I'll do a post on Facebook and Instagram. And if you want to be on the list, just pop an emoji or a yes. Yes, please. Okay. So let's do a little meditation around this. But the real work, the real healing work is going to happen on Tuesday. If you are not on my email list, you will not get the link to my free classes. So get on my email list. It's if you're on Instagram, it's in my bio. If you're on Facebook, it's in my bio. If you're on YouTube, LinkedIn, or Twitter, it is in my bio. If you're on the streaming page, it is below. And if you're in the Zoom, you're on the list because that's how you got the link for the class. Perfect. You need to be on the list, and they're all free classes, guys. I just do them based on a donation, which is amazing, if I don't say so myself. All right, nice deep breath. As long as you're not driving, feel free to close your eyes. Open your heart. Any heaviness that's sitting on top of your heart space, just breathe it out. Sink into the center of you, the core of you, that space within you where there is just peace. Hey guys, can you just give me like 2 minutes? I'm just doing a meditation. And I want you to think about this mantra. Think about this mantra, even though I often worry about people retaliating at me setting boundaries. And if you've experienced it, pop in and have experienced it in the past and it was shitty. I am willing to notice how to practice getting better at it. Ooh, we had to cover so many potentials. Okay. Even though I sometimes or often worry about retaliation when setting boundaries, and if this is true for you, have experienced it in the past and it is shitty, I am open to noticing and practicing how to do it anyway. Now, breathe in and out on some kind of variation of that feels true for you. Breathe it in, breathe it out. It's very scary. Witness, feel, breathe out any fear that comes up. I can feel that some of you have extreme terror around this idea of setting boundaries with people that you fear will retaliate. Breathe through that terror. Let it move through your body. Just let it move. Just let it move. That's it. Let this thought settle into place. Think about it. Think about how you can begin to incorporate it into your life. Coming back to the body, back to the room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Eyes open, wide awake and alert. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Eyes open, wide awake and alert. Welcome back. Oh, you're so welcome. Brisa, I missed you too. Come to my classes, come. How's everybody feeling? Anything that you noticed, anything that was challenging for you? Did you notice I felt some of you have like fear that was so tangible, I could feel it like choking. Were you able to release some of that energy? Do you feel like it could be possible for you maybe to practice setting boundaries with people who you're afraid will retaliate? Tenseness in your heart. Yep, your throat and your gut. Yep, that makes sense. That totally makes sense, babe. Come to the class on Tuesday. We're going to be working on this one, releasing it. If you can't come to the class, no problem. As long as you're on my email list, you'll still get the replay. Yay! You'll still get the replay. How's everybody else? Is everybody back? Is everybody still meditating? What's going on? Just me and Kat? Ha! Crystal's here. Yay! Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Kat and Abby. It's a Katabi. A Katabi party. I love it. Love, 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 love. You felt okay, Jules. That's great. That's awesome. I'm so happy to hear that. Do I have any announcements today? Any announcements? Not really, but I just started working with a nonprofit coach, and I'm so excited because what she does is help people build their nonprofits. What she does for a job is reviews grants. And she's worked on a federal, a state, and a private foundation level. But it's very exciting. So we can get Deep Ministries going, so we can get the home off the ground. Please feel free to share. And thank you, Kat, for bringing so many people into the vortex. I so appreciate it. Wow, one of your clients' husbands writes the paperwork for grants. Can you connect me with him? I'd be interested if he might be in talking to see if he might be willing to help me write some because there are so freaking many. There are so many. There's literally not enough time in a day to apply for all of the grants that exist. So, which is exciting because there's lots of money out there, but I definitely need a little help if from someone who knows what they're doing. That's awesome. Cool. I love it. That's beautiful. Well, thank you everybody for being here. So happy. Breeze is feeling ready. Yes. So happy that you were able to tune in today, even if you're watching the replay. Celebrating you for wanting to shift your reality, for making steps to do so. Really empowering stuff because you're the only one who can. And in the meantime, class is Tuesday. Our next class is Saturday. We had to reschedule. We had to reschedule the receiving class because I turned on my computer and my audio wasn't working. I couldn't get it to work. But obviously it's working now. So yay, it wasn't meant to be. So Saturday is the receiving class. You'll get links in the email for that. And then I'll see you next week for our live stream. So much love to you. Thank you for being here today. And oh, it's rescheduled for Saturday at 9 a.m. Love, love, love. Have a great week. Bye, everyone.